and feel and sense, what's my joy? What's my joy? And joy goes hand in hand with mindfulness, because by slowing down, being patient with yourself, allowing the frequency and all the events and people around you to kind of come to a standstill. It's like doing slow-mo in your TV. You stop the action for a moment so you can think. And it's not always thinking. Thinking in the greater sense of the word melds into a sense field, because you are sensing with all your senses on what is divine right action in this moment. And divine right action in that moment, when you come from that space and that mindfulness, you realize all of a sudden you have lots of choices. It's like going into a paint store. Do I want to do acrylics? Do I want to do oils? Do I want to do watercolors? Do I want to do finger paints? Do I want to use glitter? Do I want to use this size of brush or that size? Do I want charcoal pencils? Do I want regular pencils? You see, it allows you all of a sudden to understand that in your creation of your own life, there are choices. There are more choices than you can imagine when you step back, and become mindful in that moment, and allow yourself to breathe and step into that space of mindfulness within. In mastership, everything seems to be interconnected. You can't chop that this little piece you're going to work on, this little piece and this little piece, and perhaps someday you'll put it all together. Don't be surprised if you work on one aspect and then another aspect comes up for you to work on, and you'll think, oh my God, I've worked on that before, haven't I? Haven't I healed that? It's that peeling off the onion layers. And some of those aspects that come up for healing aren't always good to feel. And so when they do come up, sometimes we'll look out through those aspects. A big one for me was fear. Sometimes the fear, I couldn't put my finger on it. There was just this feeling. And I realized that I didn't have to know where that fear came from. It's treating energy with energy. And I would find that there were sometimes situations, and it could be that someone or something triggered you from a learned response from, back when you were 2 years old and you can't even remember. You just have this learned response. And I would find that all of a sudden that I would feel tight in my abdomen, tight in my diaphragm. I would maybe be shallow breathing, where all of a sudden I'm breathing up here instead of expanding around, and I would start thinking, oh my God, this is where you're just, it's like your mind's in a whirl. Aware, awake, and able. In the moment is being aware, awake, and able enough to understand going back into the breath. The breath. And you keep breathing, whatever rhythm you want. Slow is nice, where you just expand, kind of hold the sec, and then release it. Because it's the breath that will start helping you relax. It will slow the heart rate. It will help the lungs expand, so you're not in a fight or flight situation. When you're in a fight or flight situation, it's really hard to get off that merry-go-round and see life through different eyes. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to see life through your fear, because any type of, say you had a run-in that kind of, you had a boss perhaps that had dark hair, so it could be that in the moment of that feeling of fight or flight, you see someone with dark hair, and all of a sudden, the fear comes up. And you're there thinking, why am I fearful? Well, why is this coming up? Well, you don't have to worry about why it's coming up. The fact that it's coming up means that you are ready to release it. It wouldn't be coming up for you to look at, to feel, and then through the breath to release it if you weren't ready. You're stronger than you think you are. You got to this time, in this moment in time, space, because you were strong. There's this big mission we're here to do. And when you start becoming aware, you become aware that there are certain missions that only you can perform. We're all part of a whole pattern, and each person has a piece. Some have a perceivably smaller piece because that's what they chose, but that doesn't mean it's any better or any worse than someone that it looks like they have this huge mission they're doing. No, because you see, it all fits. Some people are helping teach the young ones coming up how to operate in the world, how to be self-sovereign and powerful within themselves. And one of the things we don't always teach them is how to handle that fear of when things happen around them that they can't control, understanding that they can choose to be in the moment and breathe and to feel that power inside themselves, and they can make choices instead of reacting. The same with us. There's that child within us that had fearful experiences at one time. And so the first thing we do is do that. And then all of a sudden we're holding our breath and we're tight and the heart rate starts speeding up. And we can actually make ourselves sick on a lot of different levels. The physical sense, the mental self, the emotional self. And so it's being mindful again. Breathing. And continue to breathe. If your mind wants to go into a different direction, breathe again. And you can always take a concept. One of the concepts I was thinking about this last week was purity. And purity, to me, I started thinking, what are the ways in a spiritual sense that word purity would mean? And I thought, purity of thought. What are the thoughts I'm thinking? Am I thinking less than about people? Or am I thinking about creation? Am I thinking of, let's say, appreciation of the birds and the trees and the flowers around me? Because appreciation is a form of love. Am I thinking about, I need to go over to that person and tell them how much they've meant to me, or the job they do? You know, do you know who's the cleaning people? Who are the cleaning people in your building? Do you know their names? Do you thank them? When you go through an airport, do you thank, when you're in the bathroom, do you thank the person there who's cleaning for the job they do so that you could have a clean restroom when you're changing planes? Everybody wants to be appreciated. Everybody, we don't want to think of ourselves as numbers. I mean, isn't that what it's come down to a lot of times, is we are a service number, a social security number, a telephone number, a cell phone number. We have whole sheets of papers on the numbers to get into different websites. Every time you buy something, you have a different number. Don't you just want to be known as who you are? And to have someone recognize you as a divine spark of source. And it all starts with that moment of mindfulness and the breath, where you can breathe and relax and then take a look around your world. Where does the world need me today? Where do I need to walk on the earth? Flowers are conscious, trees are conscious. Hello, air. Thank you for making it a cool day. Oh, tree, aren't you gorgeous? Thank you for your shade on such a hot day. Thank you, flowers. Thank you, plants. Thank you, bed, for allowing me to lie on you and you being so comforting to give me a good night's sleep.